It's me. It's Miss Cheka. How are you on this beautiful afternoon? We're gonna continue reading Alice Day. Oh, it's Miss Tessie. Hi, Miss Tessie. Life when I am not on YouTube, I am an English teacher, but I also teach coding. But I also have a gardening section, and in my garden at school, I have vegetables, and so at home I also plant vegetables. Like, yes, this is extremely exciting. These are carrots that I grew in my garden, and some of them are teeny tiny. It's super fun, right? Especially this purple one. Yes, I grew some purple carrots. So I just want to show you this. So if you are used to eating baby carrots at home, you may not have looked at like a carrot plant. So I know some of you buy carrots in bunches and some of you have like baby carrots, but if you grow one out of the ground, look how long this is. So this was like what the carrot plant looked like coming out of the ground. I don't know what it means that it was this long. It might not have been getting enough sun. So maybe it was like trying to get some sun. And then this is what was under the ground. And this is a yellow carrot. So number one, I just want to share, I'm super excited about my carrots. Number two, you know what I'm going to do this afternoon is I'm going to plant more carrots. This is not the purple and yellow kind. This is like orange kind. But the thing that is hilarious about these carrots, do you know what these carrots are called? First of all, did you know that carrots have different names? So all of the carrots that you eat in the grocery store, they have like specific names. There's like people have bred them to be like maybe sweeter or crunchier. I mean, I don't actually know what characteristics you would give carrots. Personally, I just really like it when they come in fancy colors, like the purple ones or the yellow ones. These ones are called carrot Danvers. Do you see this? Which is the funniest thing in the world. If you, like me, like superhero movies, because one of my favorite movies is Captain Marvel, but you know what Captain Marvel's name is? It's Carol Danvers. So I think of these as my superhero carrots. These are carrot Danvers. Anyway, that is my off-topic excitement for today. Okay, so now we are going to return. Oh, that door is really bright. Let me move the computer a little bit. There we go. So yesterday we left off and they were singing this like super, super goofy song, the Lobster Quadrille. So I really hope that everybody went home to their houses and like danced around with lobsters and with a porpoise. Okay. And okay. So then okay. Let's see. Oh, here we go. All right. So here's our book and okay. All right. Nope, I'm still lost. Here we go. We talked about the whiting. We talked about the thing. And, oh, here we go. I mean what I say, the Mock Turtle replied in an offended tone. And the Gryphon said, come, let's hear some of your adventures. I could tell you my adventures beginning from this morning, said Alice a little timidly. But there's no use going back to yesterday because I was a different person then. Explain all that, said the Mock Turtle. No, the adventures first, said the Gryphon in an impatient tone. Explanations take such a dreadful time, which is probably what like every single kid who has ever talked to me thinks, because I like to explain things a lot, just like I like to share about my carrots. So Alice began telling them her adventures from the time when she first saw the White Rabbit. She was a little nervous about it at first, and the two creatures got so very close to her, one on either side, and she opened their eyes and mouths so very wide. But she gained courage as she went on. Her listeners were perfectly quiet till she got to the part about her repeating, "You are old, Father William," to the caterpillar, and the words coming all different. And then the Mock Turtle drew a long breath and said, that's very curious. All right, hi, Jamie. It's all about as curious as it can be, said the Gryphon. It all came different, the Mock Turtle repeated thoughtfully. I should like to hear her try and repeat something new. Tell her to begin. He looked at the griffin as if it had some kind of authority over Alice. Stand up and repeat, "'Tis the voice of the sluggard," said the griffin. How the creatures order one about and make one repeat lessons, thought Alice. I might just as well be at school at once. So does anybody else feel like that? Like you're at home and you're hanging out, but you're having to do so many lessons and stuff that you might as well be at school? I know. However, she got up and began to repeat it, but her head was so full of the lobster quadrille that she hardly knew what she was saying, and the words came very queer indeed. So I marked here what the original version of this poem is because I thought it might be very relevant because do you know what, guys? I talked to some of my old students and they told me that we could not have a meeting at 10 a.m. because they don't wake up until 1 p.m. I could not believe it. Are y'all just all sleeping in all day? Okay, so the original version of this poem, well, first of all, a sluggard, do y'all know what a sluggard is? A sluggard is somebody who's real lazy. Like somebody who does not like to work, does not like to get out of bed, just like me on a Saturday morning. So the original poem goes like this. "'Tis the voice of the sluggard, I heard him complain. You have waked me too soon, I must slumber again. As the door on its hinges, so he on his bed turns his sides and his shoulders and his heavy head." So think about a door hinge, right? So if I open a door and it goes like this, right? Think about it on its side. And a person who acts like a door hinge, turn right over to the other side, right? And then it ends like this. I said to my heart, here's a lesson for me. This man's but a picture of what I might be. But thanks to my friends for their care in my breeding, who taught me betimes to love work and reading. So this is what we said at the very first video, that like it used to be that all of these poems for children had morals in them, right? Okay, so that's the original voice of the sluggard. But when Alice says it, it sounds like this. "'Tis the voice of the lobster," I heard him declare. "You have baked me too brown. I must sugar my hair. As a duck with its eyelids, so he with his nose trims his belt and his buttons and turns out his toes. When the sands are all dry, he is gay as a lark and will talk in contemptuous tones of the shark. But when the tide rises and sharks are around, his voice has a timid and tremulous sound." So there are probably like a lot of people we know like that. They talk a big game when the shark's not looking. And then as soon as the shark is looking, now they talk like this. "That's very different from what I used to say when I was a child," said the griffin. "Well, I never heard it before," said the mock turtle. "But it sounds uncommon nonsense." Alice said nothing. She had sat down with her face in her hands, wondering if anything would ever happen in a natural way again. "I should like to have it explained," said the mock turtle. "She can't explain it," said the griffin hastily. "Go on with the next verse." "But what about his toes?" He was dreadfully puzzled by the whole thing and longed to change the subject. So if any of you, we talked about dancing last time. Well, if you take a ballet class, then first position is, I can't do it with my hands, but it's the position that your feet go in, right? So kind of your toes go out. I also have to show you this very hilarious illustration of the lobster. He doesn't have any hair, but he just really wants to look good. Go on with the next verse, the griffin repeated. It begins, "I passed by his garden." Alice did not dare to disobey, though she felt sure it would all come wrong, and she went on in a trembling voice. "I passed by his garden and marked with one eye how the owl and the panther were sharing a pie. The panther took pie crust and gravy and meat, while the owl had the dish as its share of the treat. When the pie was all finished, the owl, as a boon, was kindly permitted to pocket the spoon, while the panther received knife and fork with a growl and concluded the banquet by..." What is the use of repeating all that stuff? the Mock Turtle interrupted, if you don't explain it as you go on. It's by far the most confusing thing I've ever heard. Yes, I think that you'd better leave off, said the Gryphon, and Alice was only too glad to be able to do so. Shall we try another figure of the lobster quadrille? The Gryphon went on, or would you like the Mock Turtle to sing you another song? Oh, a song, please. If the Mock Turtle would be so kind, Alice replied so eagerly that the Gryphon said in rather an offended tone, no accounting for taste. Sing her turtle soups, will you, old fellow? The Mock Turtle sighed deeply and began in a voice choked with tears to sing this. Okay, so this one originally was a poem about beautiful, I think it's beautiful dreams. And in real life, Alice Liddell, when she was a little kid, oh, beautiful star. Yes, beautiful star, star of the evening, beautiful, beautiful star. When Alice Liddell in real life would parent and sing this song about the beautiful evening and the beautiful stars and so lovely. So maybe you do that in your house, like you and your siblings, like, you know, put on a show, or if you're an only child, you just like put on a show for your parents and then they clap for you and so on and so forth. But when the Mock Turtle sings it, it sounds like this. Beautiful soup, so rich and green, waiting in a hot tureen. So a tureen is a dish that you put a soup in. Who for such dainties would not stoop? Soup of the evening, beautiful soup. Soup of the evening, beautiful soup. And then there's a lot of like beautiful soup, etc., etc., etc. Beautiful soup. Who cares for fish, game, or any other dish? Who would not give all else for 2 pennyworth of beautiful soup? Pennyworth only of beautiful soup. Soup of the evening, beautiful soup. Chorus again, cried the Gryphon, and the Mock Turtle had just begun to repeat it when a cry of the trial's beginning was heard in the distance. Come on, cried the Gryphon, and taking Alice by the hand, it hurried off without waiting for the end of the song. What trial is it? Alice panted as she ran, but the Gryphon only answered, come on, and ran the faster, while more and more faintly came, carried on the breeze that followed them, the melancholy words, beautiful, oh, soup of the evening, beautiful, beautiful soup. So maybe if you have like a really, really delicious soup, like in my house, my mom would make a wonderful pozole. So good. I would definitely sing a song about pozole. But maybe you've got a soup at your house that is so good, you could sing a song about it. Okay, chapter 11. It is the penultimate chapter. It means this is the next to last chapter. Who stole the tarts? The king and queen of hearts were seated on their throne when they arrived, with a great crowd assembled about them, all sorts of little birds and beasts, as well as the whole pack of cards. The knave was standing before them in chains, with a soldier on each side to guard him, and near the king was the white rabbit, with the trumpet in one hand and a scroll of parchment in the other. In the very middle of the court was a table with a large dish of tarts upon it. They looked so good that it made Alice quite hungry to look at them. I wish they'd get the trial done, she thought, and hand round the refreshments. But there seemed to be no chance of this, so she began looking at everything about her to pass away the time. Alice had never been in a court of justice before, but she had read about them in books and was quite pleased to find that she knew the name of nearly everything there. That's the judge, she said to herself, because of his great wig. This is worth me trying to find a little illustration for you, which this book may have, may not have. Okay, I'll have to find one in a second. But a couple of things. So number one, why does a rabbit have a trumpet? So he can make some announcements and literally go like, do, the king, the queen, you know, all rise, etc. Number two, what is a roll of parchment? Well, a scroll or a roll of parchment is, let's see if I have a piece of paper here. I do not have paper. Yes, I do. So in olden times, instead of having your information kind of bound up in books, you had a scroll like this. This is like a little mini one because I just have a mini notebook, but you used to have like a huge scroll like that, and that's where legal documents would be put. And then you wrap. So you've got the scroll in one hand, you go to the other one, and parchment is the kind of writing material that they used. And also the wigs. Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite things about England. And I like a lot of things about England. But in England, the judge wears a huge white wig. Not just in the 1800s, not just in like old times, like now, like right now. If you go to England and you break the law and you go on trial, then the judge is going to wear the black robe, just like here, probably going to have a gavel, like the little hammer is called a gavel, and he will have a really awesome, like, white wig. So, like, I'm a little bit tempted to break a law in England so I can see in person. The judge, by the way, was the king. And as he wore his crown over the wig, look at the frontispiece if you want to see how he did it, which makes it sound like my illustration is going to be right here. Oh, here it is. So look at that. So here is the trial, right? So you got the knave, you got the tarts, and then here is the king, and he's wearing the wig, and he's got the crown. But he's wearing the crown because he's the king. He's wearing the wig because he's the judge. Okay. Also, I am not saying that you should break a law in England in order to see the judge with the wig. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I kind of want to. Okay. And that's the jury box, thought Alice. And those 12 creatures, she was obliged to say creatures, you see, because some of them were animals and some were birds. I suppose they are the jurors. She said this last word 2 or 3 times herself, being rather proud of it. For she thought, and rightly too, that very few little girls of her age knew the meaning of it all. However, jurymen would have served just as well. So if you are ever at a trial, then there are 12 people who decide if you're guilty or you're innocent, and they are the jurors. The 12 jurors were all very busily writing on slates. And a slate is for chalk. So little kids, or like people taking notes, used to take notes on slates with a little piece of chalk, and then you have your little slate board. What are they doing? Alice whispered to the Griffin. They can't have anything to put down yet before the trial's begun. Oh, they're putting down their names, the Griffin whispered in reply, for fear they should forget them before the end of the trial. So probably we should all be writing down our names so we don't forget it. Stupid things, Alice began in a loud, indignant voice. But she stopped herself hastily, for the White Rabbit cried out, "Silence in the court!" And the king put on his spectacles and looked anxiously around to see who was talking. Alice could see, as well as she was looking over their shoulders, that all the jurors were writing down stupid things on their slates, and she could even make out that one of them didn't know how to spell stupid, and that he had to ask his neighbor to tell him. A nice muddle their slates will be before the trial's over, thought Alice. And we just hit 20 minutes. I think we're a little bit out of time. So we will stop here. And then tomorrow we will finish the trial, but I will leave you with this like delightful illustration of here is the White Rabbit and here is his scroll. And you can see the red tape over it with the seal. So you know it's like an official legal document. And here you have his little trumpet so he can make announcements. Oh, and then Miss, I salute you with my tea. I am very excited about my carrots. Oh, I am getting, yeah, the John Tenniel illustrations are really lovely. I'm getting a reminder from Tess about Spanish. So maybe we should learn about carrots. All right, so my friends, a carrot. Here, I'm gonna use like one of the little tiny purple carrots. All right, So here is my carrot. And the word in Spanish for a carrot is zanahoria, which is a great word. Zanahoria. Esto es una zanahoria. Estos son muchas zanahorias. And I grew them in mi jardín. Mi jardín is, is a garden. Mi jardín tiene zanahorias. And zanahoria de superhéroe, because these are my superhero carrots. And just to review from last time, we had el rey y la reina. And this week, el rey se pone su corona. And what is he putting his corona over? Una peluca is a wig. So anyway, that is test. There's your Spanish for you. Okay, y'all, I will see you tomorrow and we will find out who ate the tarts. Was it you? I don't know. All right, guys, go eat your fruits and vegetables. Be nice. Read books. I'll see you tomorrow.